Let me ask you a question that perhaps you yourself are afraid to answer. Tonight, when you stand before the mirror, after all the roles have been played and all the masks have been put away, do you still recognize the person looking back at you? Look closer, past the tired smile, past the rehearsed confidence. Do you see that flicker in their eyes? A quiet stranger, a ghost of a dream you buried alive. You feel it, don't you? That silent, crushing weight in your chest. You are trapped. But this is not a prison of steel and stone. No one built it for you. You did. It is a fortress constructed not from bricks, but from every soulless nod you gave when you wanted to scream. Its mortar is the echo of hollow praise. Its bars were forged with every single step you took toward a goal that was never yours. This prison, this exquisitely decorated cage, it is a terrible and perfect work of art. It is your masterpiece of self-destruction. And like any great work of art, it demands a performance, a constant, exhausting performance. You are the lead actor, aren't you? On a stage you never chose, reading from a script you never wrote, playing a character that feels foreign to your own skin. You smile on cue. You deliver your lines with practiced precision. You hit every mark. And the audience? Who are they? Strangers, competitors, ghosts of past expectations, an anonymous crowd whose applause is so faint you can barely hear it over the sound of your own anxious heartbeat. You are the star of a sold-out show, performing for an audience you don't even like. So you try to fill the silence, the void. You accumulate trophies, titles, followers, relationships. You build a life that looks perfect from the outside, a flawless collection, a checklist of successes according to someone else's rules. And yet, you feel empty. But let us be precise. This is not the clean, simple emptiness of having nothing. It is the suffocating fullness of having everything that means nothing to you. Your life isn't empty. It's cluttered. It is overflowing with achievements that do not belong to your soul. Each one is just another beautiful object placed inside your cell, making the space smaller, making it harder to breathe. To manage the growing panic, the quiet terror of this truth, you turn to the most seductive drug of all, control. You believe it's the answer. You meticulously plan your days, your conversations, your future. You manage perceptions. You rehearse difficult conversations in the shower. You curate your own reality online, filtering out every spontaneous, messy, authentic impulse in favor of a polished, predictable image. You believe that if you can just arrange all the pieces on the board perfectly, then the chaos inside will finally be silenced. But here is the cruel, unspoken truth about control. It is an illusion, a phantom, a mirage in the desert of your anxiety. The more desperately you grasp for it, the more your own powerlessness is revealed. Every new, meticulously crafted plan is just another wall in your prison. Every controlled outcome is just another layer of polish on your chains, making them shine so brightly that you can almost mistake them for jewelry. You might think this war you are fighting is a modern one, a disease of our anxious, hyper-connected age. You might believe these chains are a new invention. But what if I told you that the clearest diagnosis for your condition wasn't written in a psychology textbook, but in a quiet room, almost 500 years ago? In the 16th century, far from the noise of the royal court and the plague of public opinion, a French nobleman named Michel de Montaigne did something truly radical. He retreated. He locked himself away in a stone tower, and there, surrounded by books and silence, he began the most dangerous expedition of all, an expedition into himself. For years, he simply wrote, not for an audience, not for glory, but to try and map the strange and contradictory country of his own mind. He chose to talk to himself, to truly listen. And in that solitude, he discovered the secret that we are still struggling to learn. He realized that true freedom is not found by bending the world to your will. It is not won on any external battlefield or measured in the applause of others. It is found within. In the courageous, unflinching, and often uncomfortable act of becoming acquainted with who you truly are, underneath the armor you wear for everyone else. But what does that actually mean? To look underneath the armor, to become acquainted with your true self. Montaigne gave us the philosophy, but modern psychology, it gives us the map. It gives us names for the jailers who hold the keys to our self-built prisons. To be free, you must first understand how you were captured. The first jailer is the most violent. It is the source of that constant, low-grade anxiety you feel. It is called cognitive dissonance. The textbook definition is the mental stress you experience when you hold two contradictory beliefs or when your actions betray your core values. But that's the clinical term. Let me tell you what it feels like. It is the acid in your stomach when you praise a boss you don't respect. It's the profound exhaustion in your bones after a social gathering where you had to pretend to be someone else for 3 hours. It is the static hiss of unease that you can't seem to turn off, the feeling that something is fundamentally wrong. That feeling is not just stress. It is a signal. It is the sound of your true self screaming in protest. Every time you say yes when your soul is screaming no, every time you betray your own code to win approval, you are creating this dissonance. You are stretching the fabric of your own integrity until it begins to tear. The emptiness you feel is the echo of that tearing. This is the pain of a psychological civil war, waged every single day within you. Montaigne's entire project, his years of writing, was an attempt to sign a peace treaty with himself to heal this rift, to align his actions with his inner world, not the other way around. The second jailer is more subtle. It doesn't use pain. It uses mirrors. In the early 20th century, sociologist Charles Cooley gave it a name, the looking glass self. The theory is simple and devastating. It states that our sense of who we are is not derived from our own self-assessment. It is built from how we imagine other people see us. You don't live in reality. You live in a hall of mirrors. A reflection from your parents tells you that you must be successful and secure. A reflection from your friends tells you that you must be adventurous and carefree. A reflection from your colleagues tells you that you must be competent and unflappable. A reflection from social media tells you relentlessly that you must be perfect. And you, the real you, get lost in the middle of it all, trying to become a composite of these distorted, contradictory reflections. You become a phantom, assembled from the spare parts of other people's opinions. Your identity is outsourced. When Montaigne retreated to his tower, he was committing a radical act of rebellion. He was smashing the mirrors. He was tired of seeing himself reflected in the eyes of others. For the first time, he wanted to see his own face, in his own light, no matter what he found. And this leads us to the third, and perhaps most powerful jailer, the one that keeps the whole system running. It is the grand illusion, the ultimate mirage, the desperate need for control. Psychologists call this our locus of control. Your locus of control determines where you place power in your life. A person with an external locus of control believes their life is dictated by outside forces, be fate, by luck, by the whims and opinions of other people. A person with an internal locus of control believes they are the primary author of their own life. The person living inside the prison we've described has a dangerously external locus of control. They believe their happiness, their safety, their very worth depends on successfully managing the world around them. They spend their entire lives trying to command the waves of public opinion, trying to predict the winds of fortune, trying to calm the storm of the world, and all they do is exhaust themselves and sink. Montaigne's philosophy is a radical, revolutionary shift to an internal locus of control. He teaches us the fundamental lesson of the master sailor. You cannot command the ocean. It is madness to try. You can only command the ship. This means accepting that the waves of public opinion will crash against your hull. The winds of fortune will change without your permission. The storms of criticism will surely come. You cannot control any of it. All you can control is the rudder, your response, your integrity, your choice in every single moment to stay true to your own course, regardless of the weather. This is where your true power lies, not in controlling the world, but in refusing to let the world control you. And when you begin to reclaim this power, this internal control, something remarkable happens. The words that have defined your entire life begin to dissolve. They lose their meaning. Words like success. We are taught to think of success as an ascent, a climb, a relentless upward journey on a ladder, with our eyes fixed on the top. We sweat, we bleed, we sacrifice, celebrating every inch of progress, every rung we gain. But in our breathless obsession with the climb, we forget to stop and ask the most important question of all. Is this ladder leaning against the right wall? What is the point of reaching the top, breathless and triumphant, only to look around and realize you are in the wrong building entirely? That the view from this height is not of a landscape you chose, but one that was chosen for you? This is not success. It is the most tragic form of failure, a beautifully executed mistake. True success is not about the height you reach. It is about the alignment of the climb. It is the quiet courage to get off the wrong ladder, no matter how high you've climbed, and find the right wall for you, even if that means starting over at the very bottom. And that courage requires a quality we have been conditioned to fear: authenticity. We're afraid of it. We think it means loss. We think, if I show who I truly am, if I say what I truly believe, I will lose my job, my friends, my status, my safety. But this is a fundamental misunderstanding, a lie told by the jailers of your mind. Authenticity is not about loss. It is about purification. It is a controlled fire that burns away everything in your life that is flammable, everything that is not made of truth. Think about it. If a relationship, a career, an identity requires you to wear a mask to maintain it, then it was never yours to begin with. It was a rental, and the price of that rental was your soul. When you stop paying, you will lose it, and that is not a loss. It is a liberation. Being authentic doesn't mean you end up with nothing. It means you end up with what is real. The relationships that remain are the ones that value you, not the character you play. The work that you keep is the work that resonates with your spirit. The life that is left is the life that is finally, truly, your own. It is not an act of destruction. It is an act of profound clarification, which brings us to the most powerful way to understand this entire journey. Your life is not a ladder to be climbed, nor a fortress to be defended. Your life is a story to be written. And right now, you may be the lead character, but you've handed the pen to a committee. Your parents, your teachers, society, the ghosts of past failures, they are all your co-authors. Every time you silence your own intuition out of fear of what they will think, you are letting a timid, fearful editor slash through the most passionate and honest sentences of your manuscript. They cross out your curiosity and write in practicality. They erase your vulnerability and replace it with strength. They take your messy, complicated, beautiful truth and they edit it down into a boring, predictable, and acceptable lie. And your one precious, unrepeatable life story becomes a bland report approved by a committee that doesn't even have to live with the consequences. This has to stop. It is time to thank your editors for their service and then show them the door. It is time to take the pen back into your own hand, feel its weight, and write the next sentence yourself, even if your hand is shaking, even if you don't know what the next chapter holds. The raw, terrifying, exhilarating act of writing it yourself, that is the new definition of success. So here we are, after all the analysis, all the philosophy, all the metaphors, it all comes down to this single moment. Right now, with the pen in your hand, you understand the architecture of your prison now. You have seen the blueprints. You know how the locks of cognitive dissonance keep you in pain. You have seen how the looking-glass mirrors of others' opinions have distorted your own face. You know that the desperate need for external control is the drug that keeps you compliant. The escape route is lit. The key is in your possession. So the question is no longer, how do I escape? You know how. The real question, the only question that matters now is, do you dare? Do you dare to turn the key? Because you have a choice, right here, right now. You can see the two paths stretching out before you. The first path is easy. It is the path back to the comfort of your cell. It is the path of routine, of predictability. The bars of the cage are familiar, almost warm to the touch. The approval of others is a low-quality anesthetic, but it numbs the pain effectively enough. You can live out your days as a well-liked, respected character in a story you secretly despise. A quiet life of quiet desperation. Millions choose this path. Most people choose this. Nobody would blame you if you did. Or you can choose the other path. The path of the author. The path of authenticity. And let us be brutally honest with one another. This path is terrifying. To turn the key and push open that door is to step out into the blinding uncertainty of the unknown. There is no map for this territory. There are no guarantees of success or applause. When you stop performing, some people in the audience will boo. They will call you selfish. They will call you reckless. They will not understand why you would abandon such a beautiful, safe cage. You will have to walk through the fire of their judgment, and it will burn. But on the other side of that fire is the one thing the person in the cage can only ever dream of. A life that is vividly, intensely, and unapologetically your own. A life of meaning forged in the heat of your own truth. It is the difference between watching a movie about a life and actually living one. And here is the final secret. This is not a choice you make only once. It is not a single grand declaration of independence that you sign and frame on the wall. It is a choice you make every single morning when you wake up. It is a choice you make in 1,000 small moments every day. The choice to speak your truth when it's easier to stay silent. The choice to say no to an opportunity that feels wrong in your gut. The choice to disappoint someone else rather than betray yourself again. It is a daily rebellion, a quiet revolution enacted not with a sword, but with your own stubborn, unwavering integrity. And so, the real work begins, not in one grand gesture, but in the quiet commitment to that integrity, day after day. This journey we have talked about has no final destination. There is no happily ever after written on the last page. There is no final draft of you. There is only the process. There is only the practice. There is only a starting point. There is only today. And there is this blank page waiting right in front of you. If this conversation has sparked something within you, then it must not end here. This is not a monologue. It is an invitation to a much larger dialogue. If you are ready to start writing your first honest chapter, or perhaps just the next true sentence, then join us. Subscribe to this channel and be sure to turn on your notifications, because this is a community for those who are brave enough to hold the pen. And finally, I ask you to do one last thing, a small act of public courage, a way to seal your intention. Go down to the comment section and write these exact 3 words. I am the author. Don't add anything else. Just those 3 words. When I see them, I will know you didn't just watch this video. I will know you understood. And more importantly, you will look at the other comments and you will know that you are not alone in this quiet revolution. The world has enough echoes. It needs more voices. It needs your original story. Now go and write it.